Woo woo! Here we are. Welcome to Crowdfunding Countdown. We're going to take a look at every single board game campaign that is finishing up this week. Make sure you know everything that you're missing out on so you can just curl up in a ball and be sad, I guess. This is brought to you by my patrons. Like every week, thank you so much to my patrons for their continued support. Huge shout out to my newest patrons. Well, actually, no, I'm filming this a little bit early, so if you did sign up for Patreon in the last week, your shout out will be coming next week. I was away this past week. I would have just gotten back to Toronto from Dice Tower West. Hopefully, if I didn't, something went horribly awry, and in that case, well, I'm confronted now with my own mortality, speaking to myself in the future. If I did manage to leave this world without a trace, I just want to emphasize that, Colin, you're no longer getting any of my board games. They're all going to Zach. Maybe you shouldn't have wronged me in Rising Sun. Now that that's out of the way, I'll take the pettiness to my grave. No, but seriously, thank you to all of my patrons. You're the friggin' best. You know I love you. Also, if you're in Toronto and you're going to Breakout Con this next upcoming weekend, the 17th and 19th, let me know, because I'm running a WSBG event there. It's now free. You can still win a little prize, some discount off the World Series tickets. Pretty cool. Maybe a game, trying to figure that out. And when I'm not running that, well, I want to hang out with cool, fun people, and I'm assuming that's you. So let me know if you're going to Breakout, and hopefully we can play a game. Let's get right into the week, starting off with one that finishes tomorrow, actually. Go, fight, pow, rumble! This is something that someone dropped a comment on the latest Deathmatch recap, where we found out what affordable games were. They said, this is an affordable game, and it should be in there. So let's see if they were lying to me, and let's see if this is any good. That's going to finish tomorrow. Usually I would have covered this in last week's episode, but hey, we're doing it now since I missed it. And I appreciate you all keeping me appraised. So let's check it out. Okay, I'm going to stop you right here and say I didn't miss it. I was right in missing it. This is a trading card aspect, which means it's not in the affordable deathmatch. I don't know who said this, but you were clearly working for Go Fight Pow Rumble and just wanted me to talk about it. Congratulations, you're getting your press, but I'm going to tell you that you may not like what you're about to hear. Not in that $20 to $30 Canadian bar. You missed the brief of the death match. Trading cards are inherently ridiculous. You can see that there is $10,000 pledged by 63 people, which means that the average money spent on this campaign is about 158 US dollars, which certainly doesn't fall into any affordable bracket. This is an unspecific pledge right here, because it says general admission tier and 3 rumble packs on the side. So I guess you don't even get a full game if that in that $25 pack. You've got 2 random cards and you're just rolling dice at each other, and you're trying to roll the best dice number first. That's the game. There's your coverage. Let's move on. Shame on you for dropping that comment in the affordable deathmatch. Because, girl, trading cards and the trading card module are anything but affordable. Let's move on to Boba Master Card Game. I can already tell how this week is going to go, and we might as well turn it off now. But hey, at least we're here together, and maybe we'll find something fun down the line. Oh, at least this is a more reasonable backer to price spent ratio. Let's do it. Also ending March 14th. All right, this is cute for what it does. Maybe I'm just a bubble tea fanatic. I've had it like twice, but it's better than I expected. The interesting aspect of this game, which makes me actually want to talk about it, is that you're playing cards from somebody else's hand and not your own hand. And so you have to remember what's in everybody else's hand, and then you're drawing randomly and hoping what you get. And so I like the aspect of pushing that memory, and then I guess if you don't care about that, then you're just drawing random cards from people's hands, and then you're trying to use those things to fill up your bubble tea. You want to fill up your bubble tea, and you don't want to play that one card that just lets you steal somebody else's completed bubble tea, and always, I think, just a bad mechanic in any game. That's Boba Master Card Game. I didn't even want to look at how much it cost. 28 Australian, 26 Canadian, so 20 US. and then shipping 5 in Australia. That's great. And then anywhere else, not worth it at all. So there you go. That's Boba MasterCard game. But I like the playing cards from somebody else's hand. That might be an interesting game at some point, but you're always going to inherently be pretty lucky or luck-based about it. So, I don't know. Check it out if you want. Let's keep moving on. This might be a short week. Let's move on to Game Boy Geek Season 11 2023. Anytime another content creator has a Kickstarter, I will cover it in case you like that content creator and you didn't know about it. Because you like me more and you're only watching Room and Board. Well, hey, there's the Game Boy Geek. Actually, I haven't watched a lot of the Game Boy Geek stuff. Season 11, though, being producing content for a long time, that's pretty cool. But you should all go and check out the Game Boy Geek's game room. I wonder if he has any pictures of it. Nope, just an insanely high amount of shipping to get the extra promos. Yeah, if only I were on the internet and could just pull it up right now. You stupid idiot. This right here, we're just going to show a little clip of it as you come in. Right here, like, it's gorgeous, and there's a sports bar. He's Mario. It's just amazing. It's incredible. He hosts 50 people down in the room, and then he's got a secret door. Come on, get out of here. It's so cool. Just for that, that's why I wanted to bring up Dan King. And there you go. If you want to check out the Game Boy Geek and support his Kickstarter, you want to get some promos that often content creator Kickstarters seem to have, check it out. I don't think I will ever end up running a Kickstarter because the logistics of the thing just feels so overwhelming and it would take up so much of my time. But there we go. Next up, we have an actual game that seems interesting. We made it. We have Alice is Missing Silent Falls. This is the expansion to the award-winning silent role-playing game Alice is Missing. And Alice is Missing seems pretty cool. Shut Up and Sit Down just did a review of it that I watched, and I've looked into it a little bit. It says it's silent, and I was intrigued by that. I thought, oh, how are you going to be communicating? But you're communicating all through text messaging. And so you create a group text, and you change your names to that of your characters, and then you go through this sort of 90-minute journey of trying to figure out and role-playing as your character and trying to find Alice, basically. It seems neat, but I also agree with the sort of conclusion of Shut Up and Sit Down's review, is that it feels like a one-shot thing. I don't feel like this is something that you're going to want to continually play because it's the same sort of story arc. You're going to find new information and new rumors and new cards, and with this, there's even new characters, but I feel like it's an experience, and it's kind of put forward as an experience, and I know I personally would probably just want the one shot and done, and for that, you probably don't need the expansion. I like that these cards, if you do want that replayability, I like that these cards, you'll pick them randomly, and at certain points, at certain times during the 90-minute timer, you will reveal things and reveal events, but also to parrot the Shut Up and Sit Down review, I can also see why that may not create as coherent an experience as you could. I think it's a great review. I think it captures the spirit of this game really well. And so if you want to know anything you need to know about Alice is Missing, I feel I've found that out just by watching that review, or I've basically distilled it all for you here. So there you go. You don't have to spend 20 minutes watching it either. But it seems like a really neat an interesting experience, and the fact that you can get it on PDF if you're interested in this, that feels awesome. That feels really cool. You can just print out the cards. You don't need the physical copy. You just do it. So yeah, this one I think is worth talking about and worth looking into, and I think it looks really unique. I also don't know personally if I would ever do it. You know, I don't mind. I like role-playing games. I like imagination and imagining, but I feel like I do that a lot in my daily life, and so I just like playing a straight board game all the same. Or I have other experiences, experiential games that I haven't yet played either, and I don't know if this one would take the cake on it. But check it out if you are interested. I love that there is that PDF option, and it feels like a truly unique and interesting experience, and I love when people are producing unique and interesting experiences because that's just exciting. So, okay, we're back on track. something at least to talk about and at least tickle your funny bone a bit as we keep moving forward. Let's check out this next one, The Curse of the Candleabria, from the creators of Shoal. Yeah, I've heard of that game. An area control board game of living candles and wandering castles. I remember this. This is a relaunch because we didn't cover it on Crowdfunding Countdown, and that's exactly why I wait until the last week, because many games get canceled, many games change their price points, and we have 2 in this episode of games that have done just that. So let's check out The Curse of the Candleabria for the first time. That is, now that it still isn't funding though, but it has a really realistic funding goal, and there's 9 days to go. So maybe by the time this video airs, it might be funding. I hope it hasn't canceled again, and I'm only covering it because I'm doing this early, but we'll see. All right, the theme's fun. Everyone's been turned into a candle. What a fun theme. And now you have to break that curse. This is a big area control game with 0 luck. No luck here. If you wanted a game where you're just out of luck, well, here it is. Nice. Rulebook is pretty close to the top of the page. It seems like a big campaign page, and this is in the top quarter, so that's great. Leaving a small window to chance. Well, that sounds like there's some chance, and not 0 chance. Welcome to Pedantic Countdown. Oh, I love this already. Just having a storage for upgrades that you're going to put back and upgrade your stuff. That's cool. Unless that's a temple board. Could be either. Wait a minute. 21 upgrade tiles, 9 positives. It doesn't matter. It's a beta rulebook. Oh, I love this too. Each castle, each house has 3 unique powers, and then you can use those upgrade powers like we were talking about earlier and just slot them in so you get your choice of how you upgrade and be even more asymmetrical. That's really cool. Oh, I don't like this. It was looking promising, but this doesn't seem fun to me. So during battle, you're gonna be positioning yourself all throughout the game on this board. There's like 10 regions. Every time you enter, you can add flames to the region, and there's a little flame of your particular color. You can also stick the flames on your candles' heads and then rip them off to give yourself an extra little boost of speed or help maneuver and for positioning purposes. But you don't want to do that too much, because if your candle goes out, well, so do you. And then you're going to fight battles in the regions one at a time. The curses will determine where there are curses as well. I didn't mention that, but there are different curses that have different effects, and they will say what regions won't have a conflict. So rather than saying, oh, these regions will all have a conflict this turn, it's really saying, these regions will not have a conflict. And because the curse is too strong there. The curse that turns you all into candles and doesn't want these candles to fight against other candles, which you do. But what I don't like here is that you have a number of tactic cards and you can play up to 2 of them, and then in turn order you can just remove one of your cards to remove somebody else's card. That seems awful to me. To remove a tactic card played the match by another player, that it doesn't seem tactical whatsoever if I can just play crappy tactic cards and then say, haha, I went first, and take them away. That just seems just bad to me. Although it does say if a player has fewer than 2 tactic cards to resolve, he will instead resolve the effects on his war board. These minor effects cannot be negated or countered. So you always have the war board thing, but that really doesn't make me feel good imagining how it would play, of me saying, oh, your tactic cards are better than mine. You outthought me, and you really predicted what I was going to do. I'm just going to remove mine then, because mine isn't as good as yours. So I'm just removing it, and you don't have access to it. That just seems horrible. Otherwise, I like the theme, but especially when something is based completely around combat, because you're getting victory points, a lot of victory points in that combat, and that's what it seems like you're getting most of the victory points for. That's just a miss, unfortunately. It's 89 euros, 129 Canadian. That's why I go through these rulebooks for you, to find those tiny little things. Yes, I'm building myself up so that you stay here with me. Stay here, please. I swear we might cover something else good. Yeah, here you can see the different candles and the flames that you can add on to your explorers and pilgrims. There's a lot of stuff in here that I like. I like that you have a set of cards and you're choosing which of those cards to assign to your pilgrims and to your warriors and to your explorers and moving them around. It's just that tactic card thing that I'm not a fan of and feels like it would be very detrimental to the game. And you can add a bajillion minis if you want little army figures with candles on, with flames on them, instead of just putting the flames in the basic area. You don't need the 6-player, trust. How often do you play with 6 players? You're not gonna. Alright, I was trying to watch some videos to see if this is the case. This might just be a bad rulebook. To remove a tactic card played in the match by another player, I assume that it meant in the battle, but you also might be if you match a card of another player, you could cancel that out. So if that's the case, then I like it a lot because you can't just remove whatever you want. You have to be specific of knowing what the opponent is going to play, and then you can block that. So being able to read your opponent's mind, that makes me much more excited about it. Don't know which one it is, but I hope it's that one. If that's the case, it's interesting. However, shipping, let's see, 18 to 27 for the core, so let's just say 27, right? So you're paying 116 euros to get it to US, 121 euros, so $150 Canadian. That's for the core pledge. Oh, they had some for early bird for the deluxe. Yeah, I mean, the theme seems fun. That idea kind of threw me for a loop, and I don't really know what's going to set it apart from other area control games other than the theme. I don't know. It's interesting. It's one of those things where it's hard to take a risk on, honestly, unless you're familiar with their previous stuff and you know you like the designers or the style. For me, this seems like another fine, good to pretty good area control game, but the bar for those, at least for me, especially in this space that is so crowded, often has to be a lot higher for me to consider it. So in terms of this, I'm not really considering it, especially when it's in that upper price point. But if you're interested, check it out. I think it looks solid. Wednesday, March 15th at 11 a.m. Moving along to Scholars of the South Tigris. This is another game that you don't need to get now at all. Like all of Garphill's games, they will come to retail, and this just makes you pay the shipping for them, and you don't ever really get anything in return. You do get the Kickstarter promo pack for free, and you also get to give Garphill a little bit more of your money, but you'll have to decide if it's worth it to you or if you just want to get it later. Right, Wayfarers of the South Tigris, I mean, it says it sold out, was $52.95 Canadian, and this, a very similar project, is going to come to $60 Canadian before shipping. Let's see what Wayfarers was. All right, yeah, it was 65 New Zealand dollars, 45 US, so around that price feels reasonable, but you have to pay for the shipping this way. So it depends. Love the rulebook being way up here, though. Oh, scholars. You know how to make this naughty little urchin boy from the North Pole happy. Yeah, the promo pack is 8 cards, right? Is it worth it? Sometimes. For collectors, for sure it's worth it. Or not for sure. But when shipping is, I'm going to guess $20. We'll talk about the game in a second. $20, 20 New Zealand dollars to the US, 32 to get to Canada, right? It just doesn't make sense to get it now, especially when down the line you're going to want to go back to Kickstarter when they have their big box with all the expansions, right? That's when you're going to want to get it from Kickstarter. And this is a great video as well. This is a combo-tastic style of game where you're going to try to be running up these various tracks in order to get victory points, and you're going to do that by playing dice on your main board, and you can manipulate those dice in a very varied number of ways. If you add workers to them, it can change the color, or it can bump it up to a 6 value, and then depending upon what value the dice are and the color of those dice, you then get to move up on these tracks. Keep on moving up and up. Get these people up here to help you. These people up here. I should get a better mouse so you can see. These people over here. Yeah, those people. You know the cards that look like people? Those people. My people. Really. No, I'm not from Bangladesh. But I am a quarter Lebanese. So. And I asked my dad recently, my last name, George, I think it was changed from Zaid. Or Zayed. Or Zed. There you find some Zeds as well. My sort of family. Which is pretty cool. So, I'm going to say, these are my people. Yeah, this one gets me more excited than Wayfarers does, to be honest with you. And this one feels unique. Maybe I just like dice manipulation. I think that's fun, but I feel like the West Kingdom style of games, they all feel really similar to me, just from the outside in, having only played Architects. And this, between Wayfarers and Scholars, or maybe it's because I actually looked into these two, these feel very distinct. And this feels really heavy on dice manipulation. I think dice manipulation is fun because you're going to be rolling the dice, and if you get a good number, hooray! And if you don't get a good number, well then, hey, you can manipulate it. So yeah, that looks great. That looks like one that I'm going to be very interested in trying out. Garphill Games does great stuff. I just think you should purchase it at retail because the shipping is too much for what you get, unfortunately. But if you're interested in that and supporting the company even more fully, well, check it out. That finishes Wednesday, March 15th at 9 p.m. Let's move along. We're not going to really cover this, but obviously we're covering it a bit because it's called Psychic Trash Detectives. Psychic trash animals race to solve a mystery before the city's trash is collected at dawn. A diceless TTRPG played with trash. Live fast, eat trash, solve mysteries. Like with a tagline like that, you know I'm going to click on it, right? It's a shared GM game inspired by guidebook-style TTRPGs like Dialect Analysis Missing. Look at that. You and the other players will use actual trash to generate elements of the game world, resolve questions, and push the story forward. You'll use whatever trash you bring to the game space, or whatever trash is there already. No, I am not interested in pulling out my garbage chicken bones and handling them. I guess I would have composted those. No. I don't want people bringing bags of trash over to my apartment for a game night. What the friggin' heck kind of idea is this? Anyway, that looks funny. Looks funny enough as like a storytelling device. That's Psychic Trash Detectives. We're moving on to another thing that I thought was funny. Penetrating the Veil, which is a solo journaling game about effing ghosts. Essen ghosts. About ghosts at Essen. And you and the ghost, you look across at each other from across the room, and, well, you say, hey, what would it be like if you were inside me? And then they possess you and go around murdering people. And it was not a romantic comedy whatsoever because you used that horrible pickup line, you perv. Ghosts have feeling too. You deserve to be possessed. Maybe next time you'll think before being so misogynist. Will your lust lead you to follow the seductive ghost into the basement? Yeah, that's what happened. The first scenario happened. No, don't go down into the basement with the ghost. But maybe you'll experience an ectoplasm burst more than any other in the world. I don't know. Will you seduce a spectral soldier in a secluded cabin left to you by your late uncle? No, it's clearly a younger version of your uncle, just in ghost form, you friggin' weirdos. Anyway, I love that this is a solo journaling game because I know that it started with one person's actual experiences, and they're like, listen, I gotta get everybody else on board with this so that it's acceptable. I'm sorry, it started becoming acceptable when we all saw Patrick Swayze was a ghost, okay? We were all into it. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, we have Ancient Terrible Things, apt, Reawakened, a new edition of the pulp horror board game for 1 to 4 players. This is if you don't get a good result in penetrating the veil. This is what will happen to you. Dang. See, I want the Riverboat Dice Tower to be in the base pledge. Wingspan could do it. Come on, Awaken Terrible Things. Where's the rulebook? Rules 3/4 down the page. I do like that there's this one token that is the battered journal of the one survivor. You're playing to be the sole survivor, which I would love to play to be the sole survivor. I will film another one of my audition tapes right after this. Let's go. This season is so good already. Get into it. There's only been one episode. You can jump on season 44 of Survivor, one of the best games out there. And I know games, baby. But I do love that there is this journal which you receive at the very end. You're like, you're the sole survivor. Great. Write in your battle journal, and everybody else is never seen from again. It's a very, very simple game, though. You're going to go to a location. It's a bit overcomplicated for what it is. You're going to a location, you're going to roll your dice, you're going to make combinations of dice to get stuff. You can see the examples over there about all the stuff that you can get if you rolled a particular set of dice, the combos that you could make. You're trying to get the most secrets, and the person with the most secrets at the end of the game wins. Very simple, $45 US, or you can get a PDF. Print and play, $9 print and play, love that. $45 US, and then shipping is $12, $16 for the core, or $20 to get to Canada. So for me, it's 65 US, $85 to $90. If I want to play a dice rolling game, I'm just going to play Battle Yahtzee, aka Dice Throne. But it seems fun enough. I like the art style. I think it would be fun. I think it would be pretty quick. I think it's a nice theme for just rolling dice. So if you're interested, check that out. That's Thursday, March 16th at 2 p.m. Moving along to the Red Dragon Inn 9, the Undercity, which is a standalone expansion to the Red Dragon Inn. Join our new heroes of the Undercity for a pint. Raised a bunch of money. The Red Dragon Inn is basically all of your heroes have finished the journey, and now you've gone to the Red Dragon Inn to drink and to gamble, and the person who stays sober the longest wins. I'm assuming this is the 9th expansion, since it's called Red Dragon Inn 9. Oh, and I love this. It's $5 cheaper. It's not a huge discount, but you can get the Eco Edition, where you don't get that box. You just get it sent to you in a normal shipping box. You can put it into a big box if you already have Red Dragon Inn. I love this. What a great idea. I love the shipping as well. You pay $5 for it, or $13 to Canada. They're saying that they're going to subsidize it, which is great. But where's the rule book, babes? All right, you can click on this main image right away, which is great. You know what? It's basically like the rule. Well, it's not the rule book. It's a video of how to play. I don't know why they just don't have that how to play section here instead of making you click to a spot that only just tells you the how to play. But I guess it gets you over to their websites, and that's what they want to see if you stay there. So sure. And you can try it out on Tabletop Simulator, but I wish they had a rule book. I just wish they could, so I could see the differences between the characters. I'm going to assume that there really aren't that many, and that your cards are what they are. The basic premise of the game, the flow of the game is you're going to draw a bunch of cards. You're going to play one as your action. You're going to keep the other ones to respond to other players' actions. You're going to try not to drink too much. You're going to give other players drinks, because when they get too drunk, they're out. When they lose all their money, you can gamble against them. And if somebody loses all their money, well, then they're out as well. And it's the person who's the last one standing, literally, is the winner. Anyway, I think it's a very sort of light game, but I really like what they're doing here. You could do the Eco Kickstarter edition with a $5 shipping and get it to your door. It seems like they're trying to make it accessible. They're subsidizing their shipping. And so if you like the Red Dragon Inn, you may want more characters. And apparently 3,878 people kind of do. So if you're interested in that one, check that out. That's Thursday, March 16th at 8 p.m. Moving along to our second of the reprints, or the second of the cancellations, and then the relaunches, rather. We have Lords of Vegas, which is an updated 6-player base set for the classic city building board game, plus 2 great new expansions. And this one is a good change. They changed it so that it's not $100, it's $40 for the Americano expansion, and then 65 US instead of like 100 or something for the actual Lords of Vegas new base set. I think all of these changes are great. I mean, 65 US plus shipping is still going to be $100 for me in Canada, and I don't know if it's going to be that great.
Vegas is a game about building.
But who knows? Certainly not watching that intro. And for only $5, you can get yourself the rule book. So that's nice. It's a unified rule book for $5, which seems just absurd to me. Is it going to cost you $5 to print this rulebook? I don't think so. You know how you can get a unified rulebook? I wish I had a stack of rulebooks here that I could just staple together. I love how you can really tell what's the old and what's the new. They both look the same to me. Well, not the same, but I think it's old first. I think that looks better, honestly. They've got their shipping rates down, which... Oh, I still hate this campaign page. It should cost about $22 to ship to the US, the base set about $24, and Canada about $10 more than that. They're just not being clear. They're saying, maybe it's this. They also didn't say it's $34 to Canada because they don't want you to know that it's $34 to Canada. They just want you to buy it right away. So it'd be like over $120 just to get the base set of this game, which Chinatown is very similar. I feel also like this campaign page is a mess and doesn't really tell you how to play, even in this how to play section, unless you watch these videos. So I'm glad they have the videos, but I want to read it for myself and see. This is just annoying. I'm going to call no rulebook on this page, but I will say thank you to Tom Vassal near the very bottom, who gave me a succinct explanation of how to play in case you don't know how to play Lords of Vegas. I always knew it was kind of like Chinatown, and that's always interested me about this game. And seeing the overview and actually looking into it a little bit more than I have in the past makes me even more interested in this game. I think it looks really fun. You're going to randomly be getting spots in a casino, and then you have a chance to pay money to mitigate people who have taken over your casinos. So you can try to expand and get control of other people's casinos if you have the highest dice there, but then they can just pay money to re-roll the dice, and then potentially all the work that you've done in expanding can switch over to them, and then they can start getting points for it depending upon what cards are drawn. So it seems like there's going to be a lot of fun back and forth, a little bit more control over manipulating things and not just being at the whim of people who don't make good deals to you in Chinatown, not saying any names whatsoever, of people who only make horrible deals for themselves with other players and not the great idea or deal that you suggested. That certainly doesn't happen to me every time I play Chinatown. But yeah, Lords of Vegas looks great. I like that there is this reprint. I just hope that it goes to retail. It's only shipping to certain countries for the 6-player base set. I think it looks fun, but it's not $120 fun. It's $60 fun. But if that interests you, or for some reason, check it out. That finishes Friday, March 17th at 9 p.m. I don't know if this is going to retail. Seems like they're interested in finding retailers, and seems like they're still interested in selling that stupid $5 unified rulebook. I remember my ire now, even though the fun of the game suggests otherwise. Anyway, that's Friday, March 17th at 9 p.m. Let's keep it moving. I don't know if I have high hopes for what's to come, but there's a couple rolling rights, so let's keep it moving with Cloud9, a game of wonderful things. Cloud9 is a game all about celebrating the things in life that brings us joy with art by Lisa Kudrow. Sorry, Lisa Kongdong. This is another one of those sort of prompt discussion games if you want those in your life. This is all about talking about the things that make you happy. You know what makes me happy? Survivor. And looking at my board game shelf. That's pretty much it. And Renee. But it's the little things. You can't have people.
Yes, you can.
No, that's not the point of this game. It's not people. It's things. Because things are the only way to make us happy. Having lots and lots of things organized on a shelf in Roy G. Biv colors. Eating food from your garden, a weighted blanket, knitting, parties, those sorts of things. And then it seems like there's a light game structured around it where you're trying to get 9 cards, and then you tell a story saying, my perfect day would involve all of these things. And then, you know what? You don't truly win until you go out and you have that perfect day. And I hope you all have that perfect day tomorrow, not today. I hope today is abysmal, just so that it's really highlighted tomorrow how beautiful a day it can be. But yeah, that's Cloud9. Let's see how much it is. $24 US, $33 Canadian. You know what makes me very happy? Shipping costs on the page in a very easy to read way. Oh yeah, all right. Okay, good. They've got it on Kickstarter. $20 shipping to Canada. And also when the shipping is below $10 for a very small card game. That makes me happy. Unfortunately, Cloud9 will not be realizing those dreams for me, but if you're interested, check it out. Friday, March 17th at 9 p.m. It's kind of nice. It's nice talking about things that we like, right? It's a way to light up our lives. And if you want a card game to help you do that, great. Moving along to Rock and Write, a rocking new roll and write game where you need to win the battle of the bands. If I had a band in high school, we were going to call ourselves We Cry Airplanes, just because it sounded indie. You got your first real 6-string. Well, somebody was listening to last week's Crowdfunding Countdown where I said if you gave me a $4 print and play, it would really rock my world. Learn to play here with text-based rules. Yes, I want that. This page is too small to be able to even say top of the page or middle, but I'm going to say middle. So you're going to use a deck of cards and dice. And this is a fun little game. It's going to take place in 2 stages where you're going to roll dice and you're going to take those dice and write the numbers on your strings corresponding to what chords you're trying to play and what strings you have to play them on. And you're basically building up your star power. And then you're going to see if you can keep the audience entertained as you flip over the cards one by one. You say, okay, I'm going to stop here, or I'm going to keep on entertaining all of these people who are showing up. So if an ace turns up, one person is at there. And then a 9 turns up and 9 more people come to the show. So your star power better be 10 in order to impress all this crowd, and so they don't get bored and turn the channel to something else. Wait a minute. Previous games is Pride and Prejudice. That was so recent. Oh, it's not by the same person. It's just games under the Roll and Write Revolution banners. There you go. This is a Roll and Write Revolution. If you want to fire it up and put the pedal to the metal, well, check this one out. $4 print and play. That finishes Sunday, March 19th at 7:14 a.m. I am off my rocker. Did I say rock? I'm so sorry. We're almost done. I swear. Let's move on to Tether, a mirror deck card game about connecting astronauts together for 2 players or 2 teams. So 2 players. Let's just call it 2 players. No video. So let's see what this is like. This is the game that Sandra Bullock could have really used when she let George Clooney float off into the vastness of space. Okay, so this isn't cooperative. I was just thinking it was because I was still thinking about gravity. Basically, you have a horizontal player and a vertical player, a top card and a bottom number, where you're going to be sitting across from each other, so you'll be able to see the specific numbers. You're trying to link your cards together if in a horizontal way, and the vertical person is trying to link their cards together. And basically, every time you're adding to the group, you're going to get points, and person with the most points wins. That's not bad. $6 for a print and play, great. $15 for a standard edition. Okay, yeah, that's about what I'd want for this. I wouldn't want it to be 20. I mean, it is 20 for the deluxe edition, but rulebook is almost at the bottom of the page, but I feel like I got the gist of it. I'll double check just to make sure. Yeah, here's where you score your cards when they make groups of 6, 10, and 14. And if it's already been scored, then it can't be scored. So you want to make sure that you are defining the group before somebody else does. Although it just feels like if I start going on a group, it just makes sense to keep extending it. I don't quite know how the back and forth strategy will work here, or if you're just going to be limited to certain cards. I'm intrigued by it enough, though. You draw this imaginary rectangle, that's how you score. And then so vertical would score 3 and horizontal would score... vertical would score 4 and horizontal would score 3, right? Yeah, it seems cute enough. Shipping to the US, $6. Okay, so $21 to get it to the US. That's great. $35 US for $50 to get in Canada. That's not great, and nobody should ever consider that. But $21 to the US, sure. If this gets you excited, I think there could be some interesting back and forth. I also think that there's going to be some inherent randomness here that may just get you screwed. So I don't know. Anyway, that finishes Tuesday, March 21st at 7:14 a.m. Finally, let's finish with Pinnochio and other games? I know you're already lying to me, Pinnochio. I see how large your nose is. There are no other games. It's just Pinnochio. I'm ready to have my heart broken. But maybe there'll be more charming print and play 18 card games that will appear. Hey, print and play, €3. Now you're speaking my language. All right. It seems okay. You print out these cards, you play a card, you can add a card to the nose if it doesn't have anything in common with the previous portions of the nose. And if Jiminy Cricket is showing here, then it's actually the person with the least leaves who's winning. And if there's a tuft of greenery like that, it's the person with the most leaves who's winning. And so you want to manipulate Jiminy Cricket or manipulate the amount of leaves that you have and win the game that way. Does that make sense? But they've also unlocked the game, Are You Ahab or Moby Dick? So maybe they'll unlock additional ones as they proceed through the campaign. All of these are sort of 18 card games in that button shy genre. They're trying to unlock Little Red Riding Hood. Who knows if it'll happen. Anyway, if that sounds exciting to you, if it puts you wildly over the moon, check it out. That finishes Tuesday, March 21st at 6:59 p.m. That's it. That's it for the week. Every week I do a pick for me and a pick for you. The pick for me being the thing that I'm the most interested in, and the pick for you being the thing that I think you should get. And this was a rough week, wasn't it? It's a really rough week as I'm going back and forth. The only things that kind of have any potential to be worth anything at all. I mean, Lords of Vegas looks fun, right? Like, I want it to be back in retail, but I don't think anyone should pay that price. All the expansions are just different maps. That's it. With, like, slight tweaks. I guess the pick for me is a real thing. It's going to be Scholars of the South Tigris. I think this one actually looks fun. I like dice manipulation. I think this is going to be good. And Shem Phillips and Garphill Games, they just knock it out of the park very consistently. So I have no problem putting this as the pick for me because I think it will be good. And it's one that I am more excited to check this one out than Wayfarers when it gets to retail. So I think that's worth talking about. As for a pick for you, no, you don't. You don't get anything here. This was a brutal week to get through with very minimal things that were exciting or even had the potential of excitement. Everything just seemed mediocre at best. And yeah, I'm not going to make one up just for the sake of making it up. Was there really nothing? Curse of Candleabria was maybe, but I think it's just a maybe. Nothing for you. You get nothing whatsoever. My pick for you is to save up your money and come to Vegas, because I'm sure I had a wonderful time, and I bet I'm going to have another wonderful time. But seriously, let me know if you are going to be attending Breakout Con. That's my pick for you. My pick for you is bring me a fun game and teach me something new at Breakout Con. Yeah, let me know if anything caught your eye. Let me know if I missed anything this week. I feel like I must have. I looked over at GameFound and BackerKit as well, and nothing jumped out over there. There were some campaigns, and they didn't seem worth bringing up. But honestly, 50% of what I brought up this week likely wasn't worth being brought up either. So I'm just very grateful that you're here and hanging out, and hopefully next week will be better. I think it will. I hope it will. There's some cool games that are coming out, though, and some cool stuff that I hopefully will be able to get to the table and start to review for you on the channel that they don't even want me to say yet. Ooh, exclusive. But just know that they're going to be good games, so stay tuned. Thanks for sticking around. My name's Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase, and honestly, I don't have a will to continue doing Crowdfunding Countdown after an episode like this, but you all keep me going, and I appreciate you a ton. So, hope you have, you know what? I hope today is Cloud 9 for you, and tomorrow, well, Cloud 10. There we go. Have a great day. See ya.